Miss Jackson here. Today I'm going to teach you your second lesson. Today is Friday, March 20th, 2020. Today's lesson, we will focus on factoring whole numbers and simplifying fractions. I am going to break this lesson up into two different lessons because I want to teach you how to use the factor tree again. And the reason why it's important that you learn how to use a factor tree is because previously I taught you a really cool way to use it to help you simplify fractions. So I'm just going to do a quick review on how to factor numbers using the factor tree, and then I'll actually teach you how to simplify fractions using the factor tree. So the first one I kind of did already. I had the number 20, and I thought to myself, what two numbers can I multiply together to get 20? So how the factor tree works is you have your number is circled, your whole number is circled, and then you find two numbers that you can multiply together to get the number in the top circle. So for 20, the first two numbers that came to my mind were 5 and 4. 5 times 4 equals 20. So then I step back and I look at my factor tree and I ask myself, can I factor these two numbers any further? And the answer was yes. I look at 4, and the first two numbers that came to my mind were 2 times 2 equals 4. So that's kind of how you use the factor tree. You find two numbers that you can multiply together to get one of your numbers that are circled. So let's go back through it again. 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times 2 is 4. So this number is completely factored. So let's do one together here. I have the number 35, and again, you ask yourself, what two numbers can I multiply together to get 35? I'm sure many of you are saying, Miss Jackson, we know it's 7 times 5, and you are correct. So I'm gonna use 7 times 5, and I'm gonna step back and look and ask myself, can I factor 7 and 5 out further? I can, and I can make it 7 times 1 and 5 times 1, but this is perfect, this is fine, 7 times 5. Let's try one that could potentially be a little bit more challenging for some of you. What if I took the number 24? Same rules apply. What two numbers can I multiply together to get 24? Some of you may have in your mind quickly saying, oh, 12 times 2. You are absolutely correct. 12 times 2 is equal to 24, but I'm not done because I still have 12 and 2. So then you have to ask yourself, can I factor 12 and 2 out any further? The answer is yes. I can factor 12 out further. 6 times 2 is 12. Then I can look and see how, can I go any further? Yes, I can. 3 times 2 is 6. So there's a pattern here. Each level, you're trying to figure out what two numbers can you multiply together to get the next two numbers. So this is like multiplying here. That's what your factor tree is. It's just a game of multiplication. So again, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 7 times 5 is 35. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 4 is 20. And that's how you use your factor tree. That is how you create a factor tree. So I'm going to start our next part of our lesson, which is simplifying fractions. So if you need to review this again before you jump into the lesson that I've assigned on Google Classroom, I advise you to do so. So let's move on to the second part of this.